All right, well, let's get started with a little discussion while we're here, get to know each other. I think what we can do is just go around the room and introduce who you are, what you're doing, how you're involved in Android tech. I assume that's why you're here. But let's go around. I'll start with myself. Mike Stringham, been doing Android development on and off for about 10 plus years at various companies. Sushil knows, and John, and some people here know, but did web for about 10 plus years before that, web, front, back end, all that fun stuff. And I've got my daughter, Sarah Stringham, who has done some coding. She's come to like girls tech things here, and but she has other interests too, right? Yeah, well, let's keep going.
So my name is Jennifer Mulholland. I just do this hobby occasionally. I help my husband when he does side projects, side work. I do it. But I do some stuff. He does the harder stuff. They like cleaning less. That works.
John Mulholland, I've been doing it for about 10 years. I worked at Ancestry a while ago, worked for Toast. We do restaurant systems. So think of the big screen in the back that tells you what orders you have to cook. Yeah, been doing that and programming since I was a little kid. Paid programming about over 20 years. Done space and lasers. Not space lasers, space lasers.
Got it at the same time, right? All right. Well, I'm Brady Farmer. I've been doing Android for about 9 years now. Right now I'm at Angel Studios working on TV apps. The lead dev for Android TV and Fire TV. Also working on some smart TV stuff. So it's a lot of fun.
I'm Brian Warnick. I think a lot of you know me in this room. Yeah, I've been doing Android off and on for 12 or 13 years now, basically since it started. Kind of like John, I was doing coding when I was 10 or 11 years old. Right now I'm actually on the management side of things. I don't get as much individual contributions on development but where I'm at now.
I'm Sushil, and I'm an Android developer at Target. I worked at Ancestry before this. Started Android in 2012. Kids are red. But yeah, I would love to participate by maybe presenting on a topic in the future or something like that. Happy to help in any other way. But yeah, that's it.
I'm Isaac Kress. I've been coding for 7 months now. In terms of Kotlin, I wrote my first Hello World on Monday. Sushil convinced me to come and said, give good ideas, and it's really looking forward to learning from all y'all.
I'm Scott. I recently graduated from college with my computer science major.
Where at?
Western Governors University, if you've heard of it. Yeah, I've just been doing like various contracting jobs for Android and web, and I really just want to like dive deeper into Android, so I thought I'd come out, meet some new faces, talk to some people. Yeah, that's me.
Well, I'm Chris. I'm on the wrong side. I do iOS development. Sorry, everybody. Sushil invited me, so I came along. I work at Ancestry. Sushil's on my team. Yeah, I've been doing iOS for about 2 years. Still at Ancestry, and I also teach at Dev Mountain boot camp over there.
Any Objective-C or all Swift?
I know how to get around Objective-C. Not my strong suit, and not my preference, but I can survive. Yep.
I'm Tyler Barrett. I've been doing Android for almost 3 years. I started like right when COVID happened, so I've just been fully remote. And I work at Ancestry.
Cool. Mm-hmm. Let's see, I threw together a few slides. What did I put down? Yeah, what we're looking forward to. So I put together some topics that might be of interest, and I believe we can still be here. Lights are going out, but... Oh, Ray is online, I think, still. Are you able to... Yeah, we've got some echo. If Ray, you want to introduce yourself?
It's not there.
That's okay. Yeah, several of you probably know Ray Hunter here. He's a principal Android engineer, and wears multiple hats, and has a lot of good technical and management knowledge. It's been great to work with him. Just mute the audio. So devices, how interested or how much do we know about foldable devices or wearable devices? John could probably speak to this. Or IoT devices. I used to do some Raspberry Pi stuff. Or big screen. Tell me about that. Like
OTT set-top boxes,
okay.
apps running on those.
Yeah. Is that something you're currently in, or yeah?
Yeah, it works for interesting. I've been doing that. I've been doing TV apps exclusively for 6 months or so now. Yeah.
And that's Android TV specifically, or is it more than that?
I'm doing Android TV, Fire TV, and Google TV. So those are all Android-based platforms. Those are all using the same code base. We're also doing some Kotlin multi-platform stuff. We're compose for web on the smart TV side of things, like Samsung TVs and LG TVs. So like not Android specifically, but still Kotlin. So fun. Yeah.
Okay. What would you say the learning curve is if you've done traditional native Android development? What are some things to know or gotchas if you want to move into Android TV, things like that?
Yeah. I'd say the number one gotcha is learning to code an app that users aren't going to be using their finger to interact with. Because like with TV devices, it's a 5-way directional pad, right? And then a back button in place of Android TV. So there's literally like 6 buttons to interact with instead of, as many on-screen buttons as you want using your finger. So maintaining focus across elements is really, really tricky to hone down. And it's something you just don't really think about using traditional Android development, in using touch-based interfaces. So yeah, just making sure, if the user presses, the down button or the left button, the right button, making sure that it goes to which element you want it to go is pretty tricky. I'd say the other major thing is TV devices tend to be lower powered than your average phone. The average chipset in a TV is probably going to have a much weaker GPU, a much weaker CPU, not nearly as much RAM as like the latest flagship phone devices. So, making sure that you code, with performance in mind, because it'll run great on an emulator and maybe it'll run great on like the highest end set-top box, but like at the end of the day, a lot of people just have cheap $20 Fire Sticks, and what runs great on one device may not run well on a Fire Stick. So, yeah.
I would say that might be worth the presentation at some point.
Yeah, for sure. Does that use Jetpack Compose, or is that still traditional XML layouts?
We're, traditionally TV apps use like the lean-back framework, like a purpose-built TV framework, but at Angel, we're all in on Compose for our TV apps. So yeah, we're using Jetpack Compose, and you've got modifiers to handle focus states and things like that. So yeah, Compose has made it really, I'd say Compose has really sped up our development time, like versus like having to learn a whole different, TV framework. So yeah.
Cool. Any other thoughts on these type of development topics? Foldable, wearable, IoT.
It's a broad category, or set of categories.
Yeah, they're all pretty broad. How about these broad ones? Instant apps. I haven't really gotten into those a whole lot, but there's on demand. I pulled these from an article, so they may be a little random, but cloud-based applications. I've gotten into. I've used Firebase quite a bit in the past 5 years or so. Several different services. I don't know if anybody here is familiar with Firebase, or I've plugged into AWS as well. Done some user identity management stuff there, and their database type services. And
Yeah, in this case, what do you mean by cloud-based? Or you mean
I don't know. This is cut and paste from an article, so.
Like streaming the user interface, like Stadia style, kind of.
Yeah, Stadia ended this month,
Which
isn't it?
ended today.
Was it today?
If you're lucky, you could still go play that worm game if you want.
Can those controllers be used like for anything else? Or they?
They are updating them so they'll be Bluetooth enabled, so you can connect it to your phone or tablet or whatever. And use the controller or you can recycle it like normal.
Okay.
What's on-demand app?
On demand. When I was reading the article, it was like healthcare likes to have on demand. I think it's like when you're scrolling through and to me, I confused the two of them, so I'm not really exactly sure.
So
But
on-demand apps they're kind of componentized apps. So you have your main application, and then any additional functionality that you have can be pulled down whenever you need it.
Oh, like on-demand modules.
like feature modules. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, Google Play started. Yeah, Ancestry started doing that a few years ago, right? Didn't DNA side do that? Anyways.
So you need to should be doing it. Yeah, that was part of why Google made the push to AAVs instead of AARs. So I think now all new applications need to be uploaded as AAVs, or maybe that's next year that they're changing that.
Android application bundle.
It's a huge thing, and they let you set it based on like, okay, you have this type of phone, don't have all.
Right, that's the other part of why.
Yeah.
Instead of just pull down the resources that the phone will use, like that particular phone will use.
Yeah, because that was a big deal.
Yep, and plus with the app signing, where Google, years after Apple had done it, finally got to where the Play service could re-sign your bundle, so that if you lost your upload key, you could just generate a new upload key and be fine.
Yeah, so I remember now.
We're probably going a little too deep.
No, it's great. It can happen to anyone.
And instant apps. Is anybody familiar with instant apps?
Yeah, they suck.
It's like a demo, basically, right? Very, very limited functionality.
Yeah,
It's like a lightweight one-touch. I just want to keep it temporarily. Is my thought.
Like a flash plugin.
Yeah. I see instant app. Like I don't think I've very rarely seen an instant app used on a non-game app. You know, like I almost always see instant apps as like game demos. You know, try the game before you download the full version.
For me, I'd see it as somewhere where you're just going to be there temporarily, like an amusement park app. Like if I go to Disneyland, I'm not going to go there every day. But if I have an app, might as well be an instant app.
Yeah, but there's like you have like no room for it to like the memory's super low.
Mm.
There's instant apps that you can just go click on a link and it will download, and you're only allotted like maybe like 10 megabytes. But then there's instant apps that you go to the Play Store, it's like a preview version of the instant app, which allows a lot more. But no, if you're already in there, just install a full app. Like,
Well, it depends, you might have room on your phone.
yeah, that's
And you
true.
try to delete this other thing. Like my son, his phone doesn't have very much memory. He has to worry more.
I think the use case that Brian described, where you go to a restaurant and like you want to use the restaurant's app, but like you don't want it on your phone, right? Like,
Yeah.
Like I think instant apps have their biggest potential as like a replacement for mobile websites. Yeah. 'Cause, like, there's a lot of services that like I don't want the app on my phone. I'll just use the mobile website.
Well, their mobile website just sucks.
Yeah.
So some of these might be good if we did like a forum and people.
Okay. Yeah.
people
Thanks.
Looked into it beforehand and then came ready to talk about it. You know,
Sure.
Like we say, different kinds of apps. We dedicate one meetup to that. And people just come and talk about it and we can learn.
Oh, you mean like one meetup for instant apps, one meetup for
Well, for both of them.
instant slash.
We all just do our research beforehand. We'll be familiar with the topic if you want to, and then kind of we'll discuss it, pros and cons about it here.
Yeah.
I thought that might be a good way to
That's a
go.
good idea. All right, I've got 2 more slides. And then I did a screen capture for like proving who was here. Mainly to show Ray that like who's in the room. Computation. AR, VR. I did a lot like 10 years ago. I did my first Objective-C iOS app and then parallel Android app with AR, which was pretty interesting. VR, I haven't gotten into a whole lot of.
I had a job offer from one
Oh, yeah.
And I almost took it. Yeah, it looked kind of cool to do.
Was it Magic Leap or something?
No, what was it? Remember? It's out of California. It's like a smaller one. Not Fruit Ninja, but yeah. I mean, there's definitely lots of different things. And they were using Android.
Yeah, machine learning, that has a whole slew of things that could be put in there. Artificial intelligence, all that stuff. Blockchain and crypto. Brian probably knows some about that. Several people here probably know blockchain stuff. What's your reaction to blockchain? What's your feel if someone's interested in going into that field?
On blockchain or crypto? So I actually really like that those two are split out here. A lot of times those two are conflated. Cryptocurrency is an implementation of blockchain, whereas blockchain is the technology set. Typically, everything that pretty much everybody's probably heard is crypto, just because those two are really tightly coupled right now. But there are implementations of using blockchain technology for things like there's a company called Vinex that they're tracking the wineries' vintages from source to destination on a private blockchain. And so that does not involve cryptocurrency, but it's a way to ensure that, hey, there's no way to inject false bottles into the shipping so that people know when they get a bottle and they can scan a QR code on it that it's traced back to the vinery. So that's just like one implementation of blockchain that's not cryptocurrency.
And voting.
Like that.
Voting's another one.
You can vote in Utah County.
Yeah, votes. Yeah, so for everybody interested, I worked at a company called Medici Land Governance that was underneath a venture capitalist firm called Medici Ventures that funded a lot of blockchain startups. Yep, Jonathan, JJ.
Yeah, because he ran for governor.
Yep.
That's all I know. But he was doing a lot of the land tracking for other countries.
Yeah. There's a lot. So like Votes was actually one of the companies there. Vinex was, and 20-something other companies. There's actually a lot of applications for blockchain outside of cryptocurrency, but usually those implementations are private ledgers and not publicly writable.
And by design, right?
By design, yeah. The interesting thing is we were actually working with some governments that wanted to store their data on a private blockchain, and we discouraged them from that because it would be no different from storing it in a data center for their particular use. And it was just because if you're looking at read writes, a blockchain is going to read and write much slower than you're going to get through a standard database application.
Any other thoughts on these? Machine learning, Google has their own toolkit. I can't remember the name of it now. TensorFlow? Yeah. Yeah. Has anyone played around with that much before?
Yeah, played around. Don't remember much.
I haven't on mobile, but.
It seems pretty cool. I just don't know how to build my own models and stuff, so I just kind of left it. I didn't want to get too deep into it, because then once I go down the rabbit hole, I don't want to get that my career.
Currently at work, I'm on a project that changed from Google's Vision API, which is now deprecated, to the ML kit, machine learning kit in Android, only for the purpose of barcode scanning. So I'm using machine learning for barcode scanning, which is probably overkill, but that's kind of the recommended library that Google has. And it works, it works great.
Does it have built-in functionality for barcodes?
There's a...
Using like zebra crossing and then passing it through.
Yeah, no more of that. I mean, there's an ML kit. There's some Android X camera dependencies, and there's a barcode scanning separate dependency.
And it works. Do you happen to know what barcodes that
You specify the type that you're looking for.
It does QR too. I use it for a previous app.
Yeah, we're using QR codes.
It does standard bars.
I haven't looked at all the other ones, but we're just focused on QR.
Yeah, fun fact, there's like 40 something different barcode types.
Yeah, they support a lot of them. I just remember the list was like this.
Yeah, the first job that I worked at, I had to implement a lot of those for the old Windows mobile devices and Windows CDs.
Okay, the last one. They're kind of lumped together here in an interesting way, but environment or presence, location-based apps. This article talked a lot about 5G technology and how to leverage that, but Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, even Google Assistants or chatbots, intelligent things to give you updates on different things, or chat programs.
We're using like chatbots for drive-throughs now.
For what?
Era was testing out the chatbot thing for drive-throughs.
Hmm.
But it's a local one, and you order from an AI basically through the drive-through.
That's genius.
I don't know. I think people want human interaction.
Well, if you're going through a drive-through, I mean, like when I go in, yeah, sure. I'm going through a drive-through. They're basically machines.
Through the speakers.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
The order might be more accurate too, right?
Right? Yes.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes, but it was kind of interesting usage for some of the technologies.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of interesting uses out of those technologies.
I know years ago I worked on an app for a friend who did mileage tracking, and they had this location-based. They wanted to track, if you turned it on for a while, they could track like where your car went, and you could save your trips and things like that. But is anybody involved in this kind of stuff, location-based or Bluetooth?
We're sitting in a building that uses location-based services.
Yeah.
So yeah, Vivint has geofencing, and so we had to use location, Bluetooth, and I don't remember what else we were using, but to set up a boundary around people's homes, so that when they were like getting close to home, it would start. I mean, you probably know some of this too, but it would like start warming up their houses. It was connect to like a Nest thermostat or whatever Vivint's is. I can't remember what its name is. Or things like unlocking, locking the door, opening the garage, closing the garage, things like that.
Yeah.
But it was kind of finicky at the time, and this, I mean, this was for me. This was like 5.5 years ago or so, and so this was before. I remember Google actually added some geofencing functionality into their app or into their libraries natively, when that didn't originally exist, and so we had to use a couple of different services to try to get the geofencing to work. But with like the sleeping of the mobile device at different times and backgrounding with applications, sometimes it just didn't really work properly.
Yeah, I haven't worked on those myself personally, but yeah, it's cool applications. Yeah, and that's pretty much it.